All right, guys, it's been a minute since we've been to the track. So we got her loaded up, ready to go. Bradenton is having like a little test and tune tonight. I think it's called Street Heat or something like that. And they're going to be doing like roll racing up until like 7:30, and then they're going to do some drag racing. So I wanted to go down and test just a little bit before next weekend, which is that no time race, Out for Blood 4. I'm going to be going into the street style class, but I just kind of wanted to get some data and see how the new turbo's doing. I really haven't got any like full passes on that turbo. The last time I did take it down to Showtime drag strip with the new turbo, and it was a disaster. I didn't even post the video because it just spun right away, and I just loaded it up and went home because the track was just so bad and wasn't worth it. So I'm gonna take it down there and make some passes, look at the tune, and see where we're at, see if we have a chance to compete next week. So I don't know how much of the times I'll be sharing. Maybe some of it, I don't know. I know some of those guys, they get kind of funny with that stuff, even with other people sharing their times, because then you can kind of figure out what everybody else is running too. So, but anyway, all right, I'm gonna run down there and I'll pick it back up when we get there. Guys, so I don't know if you can see me not in here, but about to make our first pass. I have it set up to where it's gonna make around 18 pounds of boost. This is just to get like an A to B pass, because I've never actually made a really, like I said earlier, a full pass on this turbo. So I don't know what it's gonna do. I'm launching pretty soft, so it should hook and should go probably, I don't know, maybe a 6.0. I don't know, I'm guessing. But yeah, this is just to get some data, and then after that we'll turn it up. But after the pass, I'll go over like the log with you guys and all that. So anyway, let's make a hit. Made a pass there, and I looked at the data log, and we made around 20 pounds of boost. So I only added a little bit of duty cycle, so it was basically on the gate. I have like I think like a 15 or 16 pound spring in there. The tune looked perfect, everything looked perfect. I'll give you the time on this one because it was pretty slow. It went 550 on the 20 pounds. So the 60 foot was 124. So the 60 foot was good. I left really soft just so that I knew it would go A to B. So this one I have it turned up. It should make 30 pounds of boost. So in order to be competitive next week in the street car class, I got to be pretty good into the fours. Otherwise it's really not worth it. Those guys are pretty fast. So they're running, you know, high to mid fours. So we'll see what happens, and see what happens on this boost. And I'm not going to really go over the log. Maybe I'll do it at a different time, but yeah, so we'll see what happens. Okay guys, so it's the next day. I didn't really make like a video going over the tune and the passes and all that last night because it was so dark. There was so many people there, and yeah, it'll be easier right now to kind of go over the log a little bit and just show you guys what the time slip and what kind of boost it was making and all that, and just give you all a comparison of kind of what it was doing on the old turbo and what it's doing now on the new turbo. So yeah, last night was like a streetcar night. So the track was not great. When I first got there, the track was decent, and we went and just ran a pass on pretty much just a little bit more than gate. I hardly put any duty cycle on the wastegate. So I wanted to get it down the track to see how the tune looked. And so I'll show you the time slip on that, and then we'll kind of go through the tune on it too. Let me just stick my log in here, and I'll bring it up and we'll just kind of go over it real quick. All right, hopefully y'all can see this. This was the first pass that I was telling you guys we made around 20 pounds of boost, it was only just a little bit more than what the gate pressure is. I have the gate spring on this thing at around 15 or 16 pounds. And so yeah, it made a little bit more than that, but essentially, really low boost. You can see it left at right around 173 kPa, which if you do the math, I think that's right around like 15 pounds of boost, maybe, or less, maybe less than 15 pounds is what it left on. So it hooked pretty good, and it went, let's see here, it left at around 4,700 RPMs, and it went a 1.24 60 foot. Now I'm going to show you this time slip because this is like a slow time slip, so it doesn't matter as far as like the no time stuff goes. So this pass was a 1.24 60 foot, as you can see. So, and then it went 550 at 123. So, oops. Do that. So as you can see, as we launched right here, this is where I let go of the trans brake right here. It started climbing. It peaked out, the boost peaked out, which probably because there was a lot of load on it right here, and then it kind of leveled off, but it made 274. So if you minus 100, so it's right around 22 pounds, and then it leveled off at like 20. Okay, and then the rest of the run just stayed right around there. And you can see I short shifted it at 7,300 RPMs. And short shifted it here at 7,200 RPMs. So overall, like I said, I was just trying to get down the track, get A to B, and just to see where the tune is. The tune is spot on. I mean, if you look at my Lambda, you can see this is my target. The target is here, the blue line, and the actual is the brown line. So I mean, it's right in line. You can see 7.9. It's staying really steady. So the tune is like spot on. So once I saw that, after that pass, I knew I could, turn it up and see what it would do. So we did that. I turned it up, and I was calculating off of this that I would go up about 30% in duty cycle and 30% on the boost. So that would have been right around 30 pounds of boost is what it should have made on the second pass, okay, which is here, which was completely a mess because we spun, okay? So the second pass is the one you can see the car. I know the video is not great, but you can see the car just going sideways right off when I let go of the trans brake. So, but I wanted to get back in it to see if it would make the boost I was asking for. And so down the end of the track, I started getting back into it. And I'll bring up the log on this one, and you can see it made exactly 30 pounds of boost. Like it made 310 kPa, which if you do the math, it comes out to right around 29, 30 pounds of boost. So everything's working, the gate's working perfect. It's everything's, doing what it's told. So And then another couple things on here. This is my nitrous. You can see the nitrous is activating, and it's keeping this two-step up. It just kind of helps it a little bit. You can see it activates and then turns off, activates and turns off. Basically, it's just keeping the turbo spooled. And then as soon as I launch it, it turns off. What else? Okay, here's the fuel pressure. Right around 5 bar of fuel pressure. The IATs are always good now that we've got that bigger intercooler. So the IATs are here. It starts off at 34 and ultimately ends at 37, which is what, 2 or 3 degrees difference from the beginning of the run to the end of the run. So that's good. Yeah, and then I shut it off at like just past the 8th mile. I shut it off and it coasted to an 880 at 132. So yeah, I stayed in it a little longer after the 8th mile, and that's why the mile an hour is up a little bit. But yeah, I shut it off and it coasted to an 880. So yeah, so that was that, and I was feeling good about it, and I'm like, okay, this is great. We'll turn it up and see what happens. So let me bring up the other log, and then we'll go through that real quick. All right, here's the second pass, and you can see this is just a mess of a log here. Brought it up on the two-step right through here. Let's see, yeah, right through here, and it basically mirrored. It did exactly the same thing as the first pass. So I didn't change anything on the leave. I just left the leave alone because I felt like a 1, 2, 4, 60 foot is not bad. And I'm like, the track, last night was set up for street cars. Like there was no prep, basically. They prepped it one time and then they just kind of dusted it off every once in a while. But other than that, there was really no prep. So I didn't want to get any more aggressive on the leave. So I left the leave the same, and it left, again, 4,700 RPMs, 170 kPa, just like 15 pounds of boost or less. And then it launched, and immediately it spun, as you can see right here. And I don't know what this, like, you can see where it's hitting a limiter, but I don't understand why it was doing that, because I don't have a limiter set at that low. I have the limiter set at 9,000 RPMs, so it should never have hit limiter at 7,500. Okay, and obviously it was spinning, and I got back out of it. You can see here, and then got back into it, and then it started hitting like a limiter again. It spun again. I lifted again, got back in it again, and tried to run it out. And you can see it did make 300, and at the peak, at the end of the track, right around 326 kPa, which is a little over 30 pounds of boost. So it was making good boost, but all the spinning and stuff like that, and I was looking through the log and I couldn't figure out why it was like hitting a limiter. But then I got to thinking, and I think it might be like the spark blowing out. Okay, I hadn't really run into this problem before. Maybe this new turbo's flowing more air at the same boost levels, which is going to make more power, and it might be blowing spark out. So I need to take a look at my spark plugs just to kind of see if maybe that's the issue. I haven't changed the spark plugs in probably, I don't know, since last year. So those are the same plugs. So it's probably a good idea to change the plugs. The other thing we can do on those Audi R8 coils, they're not the best coils in the world. There are definitely better options for coils. But the one thing you can do is you can kind of overdrive them. So you can add, so if I brought up this little dwell map here, and this is the dwell on, voltage versus your dwell time here. And, we're running 14 volts, obviously, and the dwell time is 1.7 milliseconds. Like, you can up that a little bit. It's not healthy for the coil, but it gives it a little bit more spark energy because it's dwelling more, So we can do that. We can mess with that and maybe mess with the gap on our spark plugs to see if that's the reason why the spark is blowing out. or it could just be old plugs. It could be a number of those things. So yeah, it kind of confused me a little bit when it was hitting limiter at 7,500 RPMs. So yeah, but I think that's what it is. I don't think it's anything other than that. So anyway, yeah, and then like I said, that last pass was pretty much a joke. It went 168 60 foot, 650 at 122. So yeah, that one didn't really work out well, but it was because the track was just, at that point, that late in the night, the track was no good. But anyway, I just wanted to show you guys that, and I just felt bad because I didn't really go over it last night, and I wanted to do that this morning. But other than that, I'm pretty happy with the way everything performed, and we should be good for next week. I don't think that there's really no issues with, you know, making the power. I think it's going to make the power. I mean, it made, with at the end of the track, it made that over 30 pounds of boost, and we were only at like 35-40% duty cycle. So we have a lot more to go, and I was only around 52% duty cycle on the injectors. So we've got a lot more injector to go, a lot more turbo to go. And I mean, all right, so just for reference, the old turbo setup, it took way more boost to go 550s than 20 pounds of boost. So we're definitely making way more power with this turbo than the other turbo. There's a lot of factors involved, like back pressure and all kinds of stuff, you know, that factors into that. So on 20 pounds, we went 550. On 20 pounds before on the old turbo, it didn't go 5. It was just barely getting into the 5s on the old turbo. So, and maybe not even in the 5s at 20 pounds, and probably in the low 6s. It took close to 30 pounds to get into the 5s with the old turbo. So yeah, we're making good power. I do believe that I can get this into the 4s, no problem, on a good run, good track, and everything goes well. I do believe that it can easily get in the 4s, which would be decently competitive with those guys. I mean, those guys are running pretty deep into the 4s, but I mean, I'll be there to have fun, and you know, I can compete a little bit. So all right, guys, so hopefully I got some decent video of the car, and you guys enjoyed the video. So yeah, the next video will be next week, going to the track, unless something else happens and I don't go. Yeah, the next video will be that the no time shootout. So anyway, that's gonna do it for this video, guys. Check y'all later.